Hello students, here is your video for the days of November 4th and 5th. So if you're here, you've come to the right place. Please review the assignment criteria that's in the lesson, and I'm going to go over what you're supposed to do in your project when it comes to shading. All right, so don't forget to get your photo from the folder. Stuff needs to be stored in the cabinet and by the door. You're going to be shading meticulously like little robots the entire class period, achieving successful, smooth, and flawless texture and value matching. So just to remind you of the smooth, flawless texture that we're going for when we did our sphere, same shading technique, no rushing, quality takes time. So if you're shading with quality, sharpen my pencil after this, all right? For one thing, you have to have a sharpened pencil. So sharpen pencil, okay? Number 2, shade 4 to 8 boxes for a day. So you're not going too fast, you're not going too slow. So that is on your X grid when you have boxes. This would be, like 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have the big giant paper, you'll just be doing 4. If you have medium, maybe 6. And if you have small paper, maybe 8. Okay, but don't rush it. Okay, so 4 to 6 boxes per day. Shade in a circular motion. And it's more like we're going to be talking about like high resolution versus low resolution shading. Okay. All right, so another reminder is dark values, shade, layers. So very fine circular shading. Okay, so these are our rules so far. If I think of a few more, I will let you know. So when you're holding your pencil, I want you to hold it with 2 fingers and let the weight of the pencil create your lightest value. If you look at the color of your printed paper and the highlights versus the areas that you think are the highlights, some of your lightest areas on your paper might be this value. Now you might think this looks a little dark at first, but you gotta just trust the process. So we're holding at the end of the pencil, like keeping it nice and wiggly so that the weight of the pencil creates a very light, smooth value. Now if we want to go a little bit darker, you can scoot your weight or your hand down the pencil, applying more weight from your hand. So it's kind of like a seesaw. Okay, wherever you're applying the pressure, is it going into your palm into the table and you're shading lightly, or is the weight going into the tip of the pencil and making it a little bit darker? Okay, so medium values, remember the smaller you shade, so I was talking about high resolution versus low resolution. So what not to do, I'll show you in a second, but what I want you to do is to shade very, very small, very tiny. I know it takes a long time, and that's why I've set this goal. Sorry, my chart's so sloppy. I'm trying to make this video fast for you. So the smaller you shade, the more detail you're going to get. So this is what's unacceptable, is large kind of scribble shading, trying to cover lots of ground at once, kind of making it look like, just a little bit less detailed. So it's going to come out really fuzzy. It's not going to be what we want. So the smaller and more refined, yes, it takes longer, but it's the results and the quality that we expect, okay? So you need to be patient, take your time, and if you only get 4 boxes done in the next 2 class periods, then I'll know, and they're high quality boxes, I'll know you were doing your work the way you were supposed to. So please don't rush and try and do 10 boxes in 1 class period, because it's going to look a little bit sloppy and you're not going to get the grade you want, okay? I'm grading you on what you do to accomplish 25% of the shading on your picture, and is due by Friday, submitted to Schoology. Now for dark values, darker values, so this is light, this one is no, do not do that. I can show you medium value, couple of layers, and this can be considered a medium value. Layering, now I my circle's got a little bit bigger, but if we want it to be nice and detailed, so nice and tiny, okay? The more sharpened your pencil is, the tinier the rotations, the more realistic and higher quality this is going to look. So for darker values, just know that you really have to pile on the layers very slowly. You cannot rush the darker values. It's going to take you several layers to get it dark. So what I do not want to see is, here's another no section, is you doing this, or even like trying to shade circular like this and pressing really hard. Do not go from 0 to 10. It leaves these ugly streaks. They're not attractive. I'll just make you erase it and do it again. Okay, so don't do it. If you see your neighbor doing it, tell them to stop. Okay, so darker values, you just got to keep piling on the layers. Now, if you want to very carefully do your whole arm to hatch, so I'm moving my arm from my elbow. You can do this in some areas of your picture very neatly. I'm not leaving any big gaps, so what I wouldn't want to see is like this. That's why I often don't show you this technique. But if you're just very careful, very smooth, very hard to smooth out these lines right here because we didn't do them properly. So if I draw a border right here, just know that this is the side that has cross hatchet in another direction to make a darker value. As if you need to change the texture to fabric on a shirt, it's not a smooth object, okay? So it can hatch. But just a reminder, we are mostly shading in very tiny, 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 detailed, small circles, okay? So please take your time, do not rush, and turn your work in, all right? Have a great weekend.